Hi, this is Tyler with the Natural Ones, and this is your recap for episode 11, Meet the Fratterfullers. Our dear old dudes make their way to their famous Fratterfuller establishment, the Dragon's Breath, a glamorous building where Philip's newly found family does their godly business. Upon entry, however, they found it was unlike any other church they'd ever visited. Filled with a warm atmosphere, nuns and priests in tight clothing, and a pub-like interior, the dudes had to wonder about the validity of this place of worship.
We're not that in church, guys. Guys, we're not that in
That is like
church.
that I've always wondered if Philip's church was a church the way that Philip is a gnome.
Well, you know, like,
and as you guys
That's a very good way of describing it, because I feel like that's about as far as they actually are.
As you guys confirm with this, and you hear Philip
Shout.
Love to live and live to love.
you see the rest of the bar and the waitstaff. Yeah!
The group spread through the room, engaging the patrons and staff in conversation. All throughout the space, the dudes were met with kind words and cheerful energy, but as soon as Philip invoked his father's name, the room grew silent and hostile.
I think they might not be too happy about my dad.
why?
Did something happen?
Well,
Is your dad cool? Wait,
my
is your
dad's
dad
the coolest gnome alive.
I
Punch you in
do.
the face.
But like out of excitement. Not yeah.
Yeah, it's more like a yeah.
After a brief, intense intermission, the group is met with the matriarch of the Fratterfuller house, and also Philip's grandmother, Amgan, and also his uncle, Villateri, who bears a striking resemblance to his father. Hoping to prove his heritage, Philip produced the Book of Arwai that his father had given to him, only to find that it was actually one of Amgan's books, thus gaining her trust. Villateri, however, was harder to convince. Frankenelli had once brought great shame and hardship to the Fratterfuller name, causing Philip's uncle to distrust the possibility that this delinquent son would return willingly. In order to prove he was not lying, Philip cast Zone of Truth, in order to show how little Frankenelli ever told Philip about his past.
Why are you here?
Because I've heard stories about Rakia, and I've always wanted to see what this place is like.
No, why are you here in this establishment?
I heard that there were Fratterfullers here, and I didn't know that they existed.
You never were told of the other Fratterfuller family.
You never said anything, whenever I asked about others.
Moved by the transparent and true heart of Philip, Villateri took the dudes aside to tell the story of his brother's shame. Many years ago, Frankenelli had entered the heist. This is a Rakian tradition where a member of a family would enter the Nine Hells, steal a treasure, and bring it back to improve their status in the court of Rakia. The Fratterfullers had never attempted this before, and they had to call in several favors to send off Frankenelli safely. However, on the day that he was supposed to leave, Frankenelli ran from his pledge with all of his new possessions. Months later, he was found living in the southern Granian city of Ryanstead. The debts accrued by this blasphemy nearly crushed the Fratterfuller name, but just as hope seemed lost, they received a lifeline from the Rulican clan. That debt is still more than the family can handle, so Philip knew that there was only one thing to do. He would enter the heist, right his father's wrongs, and clear his family's name and debt. First, he had to prove his legal right as a Fratterfuller to the four pillars of the community in the legislative room. After producing his war-picket shield, and with Villateri's confidence, Philip was fully recognized as a Fratterfuller in all of Lorethia. He then placed another, albeit poorly thought out, Zone of Truth. Under that oath, he staked the entire Fratterfuller estate on his successful return from the heist. Philip was granted permission and 3 days preparation until he must perform this task, or die trying. So how will our heroes spend their 3 days? Find out this week on The Natural Ones.